Monique, or Mo for short, enjoys being a career woman. Her profession makes her happy, and she enjoys walking through the hospital corridors with purpose. She can't say anything bad about her experience, not even about the coffee that's not so great. Mo takes the elevator and completes her blue scrubs with a purple hairnet. Dressed in full gear, she feels most confident and in control. It can't be any way else either, because she has a very important job as a cardiac surgeon. But she likes to see herself not just as a specialized doctor, but as someone passionate about saving people's lives. Mo grew up with a cardiac surgeon for a father, so it's only inevitable that he influenced her decision to later become one. Her mother passed away when she was quite young, and she's had to step up since then. She was conservative, right until she was 20, when she met Roderick. They took a liking to each other and they became an item after her graduation, a milestone that made her father proud. At the time, she was almost convinced what they had was love. They stayed together for 4.5 years, before she decided she'd served 2 masters long enough. Her job would have to take priority. It's not a decision she's regretted. Saving lives brings about accolades, and it makes her feel like an icon, like her dad. She gets to travel places and attend conferences. It's like a practical dating app where professionals can get to mingle and socialize. She met Jean-Jacques, JJ for short, at a conference. JJ is Canada's best cardiac surgeon. He hails from Montreal, works in Brussels, and comes to Hague to spend time with Mo. Mo notes he's a bit cliché, but it's nothing she can't overlook. During one of their intimate moments, though, he confesses that he's interested in taking things from a more casual level to something more serious. Mo tells her sister about JJ's confession while they're out running. Sam doesn't buy JJ's or any man's intentions as pure and stable. The bottom line is that Mo is a successful and rich surgeon, and JJ is a fling that happens every month. Life is good, she's got a great apartment, and she's untouchable. One day the doorbell rings and she looks out of her window to see a man with a bike. His name is Max, and she clarifies that she owns the entire building. He's not looking to buy it from her, but would like to rent part of it. Mo replies that the space downstairs is inhabitable, and he remarks that he already knows this because he's visited the property numerous times and taken several glances. He'd like to share his proposal with Mo. She's reluctant at first, but he chips in that it's a long story and would prefer he gains access to the property so they can communicate better. She lets him in, and he talks about converting the space to a part studio, part residence, as he's an artist. He's eager to have her consider him, but she pulls the reins because they haven't even discussed a price yet. He's hoping it's not much because she's not making use of the space. If she's worried about his finances, he stands that he receives a lot of social funding. During a social gathering, Guide shows off Mo to a friend as the chief surgeon for 6 years and counting. Mo will have to extend her legacy for 25 years before she can reach her father's heights. Guide's friend is Mindert, a chief surgeon at the Erasmus and at the Brussels Academic Hospital. Sam is with them during the introduction, and the mention of Brussels makes her think of JJ. Mindert knows JJ as an excellent surgeon. He doesn't know much about JJ as a person though, but he seems like he's quite gullible. Sam hopes Mo sees reasons to accept Max's proposal to move in as her neighbor. Mo still has her doubts, even though she can't pinpoint them, but Sam insists she gives that man a chance. Mo said yes to Max, so now he's setting up the new space with help from some buddies. He thanks her generosity for lending him the ample space for a good price. His buddies, Faisal, Harm, and Steve, are all on parole though. He didn't want to mention that because Mo wouldn't have let him rent the space then. Should there be another opportunity, he'll be sure to not be so sly. Guides and Mo go for a stroll, keeping their ears down for bird calls. The sound of a hawfinch makes Guides go full lecture on how hawfinch operates with their sounds. He touches on his daughter's love life, aware that she hasn't been in a serious relationship in a while. He at least wants to know if she's sexually active, and it's an off-putting question for her, but she replies that it happens when it happens. He admits he's been sexually active as well since her mother passed away. Mo guesses another bird sounds, so her father's attention is diverted from their weird sex talk. Mo resumes work, discussing with a familiar patient who trusts he's in good hands. Afterward, she's in the theater determined to make sure that trust isn't broken. Mo hears movement and peers out of her window to see Max and his buddies still in the process of moving in stuff. He calls out to her to come downstairs and see something he has. She honors his invitation and gets to see a bunch of weird-looking sculptures with weird names. Mo is curious to know if he makes money from the sculptures, but he relays that he doesn't. He, however, sells more practical stuff for a living. A fight breaks out among the delinquents. Max goes over to break the fight, and Faisal uses it to tease about his sexuality. Hearing Max confirm he's indeed gay makes Mo's heart sink. She tells Sam on the phone about it, surprised that she didn't catch on to it earlier. Sam infers that Mo has barely ever been in the dating pool, so her judgment is trash, basically. Max has trouble breathing and thinks he might be hyperventilating. He explains exactly how he feels and states that it happens sometimes. Mo has him in her apartment and puts him through an airbag exercise that helps regulate his breathing. He points out the circumstances of getting his breathing checked by a heart surgeon, but Mo says that the airbag technique is quite common. He notices the football channel, and Mo expresses she watches football sometimes, as a distraction. Max mentions he goes see ADO a handful of times and urges her to tag along sometime. Max would like a drink, but it's not Mo's style to drink much or have it lying around. She's got no beer, but she has a bottle of wine. He apologizes if he startled her earlier, then struggles to say something else. She assumes what he's trying to tell her it's that he's gay, so she conveys that she's already aware. She's curious if he has a steady partner, but he doesn't. She opens up about JJ. He's actually married, although the marriage is failing. Max leaves room for JJ to be lying about what's failing, but Mo is adamant that it's the truth. He brings up ADO again, wanting to go watch it with Mo on Sunday. She'd earlier stated that she didn't have something planned for that day, so Max feels it's perfect for them to head to the stadium. Mo has never been to the stadium and is not so sure, but Max asserts they'll go. Sunday comes and they go to the stadium. He buys her a souvenir scarf and gets them beer for an intense time of anticipation of a goal, complete with yelling at players when they mess up, and automatically on their feet when the anticipated goal does happen. After the match, Max wants to get them some snacks. He already has his beer, and Mo opted for Coke. She's a vegetarian, so she opts to skip the snacks too, even though they have vegetarian-friendly options. Max spots a father with his 2 kids and reveals to Mo that he'd like to be a father one day. He plans on having a boy and a girl. Both will be on football teams because there's women's football. Mo mentions his dream about having children isn't far-fetched, as anything is possible these days, in theory. He talks about human nature to figure out what a person really wants at some point in their life, about sexuality and biological clocks. Mo can't relate though, claiming there's no room for that in her life. It's time for JJ's monthly visits and he's come bearing groceries. He sets to work in Mo's kitchen, commenting that vegetarian food is not his forte, but he's going to blow her mind. He instructs her to place the wine he got by the window. The amount of air streaming in from the window has to be just right, so the wine isn't too hot or too cold, as this would ruin its taste. She asks about his week, and he replies it was a usual week for an ambitious doctor like himself. He includes that he quarreled with his lovely wife, but it irks Mo that he can still use endearments for a wife he's cheating on. He claims that his wife is deserving of such endearments because she's not an awful person. He can be cordial even though he's fallen out of love with her. Over dinner, Mo presses that if JJ no longer wants to be with his wife, then he should go about the logical step. JJ professes that separations are a process, the same as falling in love with someone else. He's not trying to rush things as he's a go-with-the-flow kind of guy. Mo responds with what we're all thinking. This dude isn't going to leave his wife. He pushes that he indeed loves her, and they go on to have sex, and she points out that he always has new underwear on when they meet. He has his wife to thank for that. She does his shopping for him and gets a pack with 5 different colored boxers. He likes that she doesn't go over the top and get designers because it's not like anyone other than him. Her and Mo are going to see the boxers before he takes them off. Mo teases that the boxers might be different, but what's underneath has never changed. Sam with her partner have gathered the family for an announcement to make. She dances and sings until they get the message. Well, everyone except Diederik gets it at first. Guise is excited that he's going to be a granddad. Sam takes Mo to a corner and confesses there's a possibility that the baby might not be for her official partner, Bart-Jan. It all starts with Mo asking if her sister is sure about her relationship with Bart-Jan in the first place. The pregnancy wasn't planned, and she had a fling with someone from her place of work. She hopes the child is for Bart-Jan as the fling is nothing to write home about. Concerning how her relationship with Bart-Jan actually is, Sam isn't ready to offer much details. Diederik joins his siblings with some wine. Sam can't have any because she's pregnant, and Mo is driving, but Mo is easier to coax into having just a sip, toasting to their future niece or nephew. Mo's car overheats and she has to pull over. She ends up at Max's father's car workshop. The father nags that the car has given her warning signs, but like a typical woman, she either had no clue or ignored them. When it comes to women, his expectations aren't so high. Max points out that Mo is a cardiac surgeon, which is quite impressive. The father isn't moved, and Mo decides she'll play along rather than be upset. He goes about her car, mentioning she's fried the engine. He voices that being a heart surgeon isn't so different from what he does. Max wants his father to mellow down, but Mo agrees with his analysis. The engine of the car is much like the heart of a human body. The father puts his nose into Mo's personal life. He asks if Mo is married and if she wants children, so Mo reveals she's single sometimes and she works too long and hard to have time for children. The father touches on his son's sexuality, rather condescending about it. The funny thing is that he believes he's more accepting than condescending. At some point, he remarks they don't have to wait while the car is getting fixed because it could take a while. Remember the elderly patient from earlier? He testifies that he's feeling quite better. He suffered from shortness of breath, but after the operation, he's breathing better and the stairwell is slightly easier to embark on. He'd put his trust in her and could say proudly that she was a good bet like he'd hoped. He marvels over the fact that she's added a few extra years to his life. Mo goes to the reception and sees Max. Max has met Ray and jokes that Mo is terrible for never having told him about her handsome colleague. Mo defends that she's sure she doesn't know all of Max's colleagues either, but Max feels attractive men like Ray should definitely be made known to him beforehand. Ray tries not to blush too hard, wanting Max to go easy with the wooing. Max is driving and Mo is in the passenger seat. Seems they're headed home when she asks how he knew Ray was gay. Max replies that gay people will always gravitate towards them. He goes on to say he's aware that he's attractive, so of course Ray likes him. It makes for a good laugh, but jokes aside, Max doesn't always feel so confident. He's aware that he has his flaws. He reads himself as manly and big, lacking subtlety. Mo admits that she lacks confidence too. It's a weird concept to Max because she's a woman of importance and quality, and yet she still feels unsure of herself. Mo goes to Max's space and is impressed with how he's turned it into a nice and warm home for himself. She notes and picks up a magazine, and he mentions he has magazines like that to help him recreate poses for his sculptures. They play a game, then he asks her if she would be his muse for a new sculpture. She'd have to be though. Mo hesitates, and Max urges her not to be a prude. He reminds her that he's gay, but she insists she'll need to think about it regardless. Mo gets a call from her sister that changes her demeanor. Her father was supposed to go on a trip with Sam, but he didn't show up, isn't picking up his calls, and Sam can't get into his apartment. Max offers to drive there and help them out. They get there and Mo introduces Max to Sam. She has her key, so she uses it to gain entrance into the building. Mo calls out to Gage, but there's no answer. She eventually spots him unconscious on the floor. There's a broken cup by his side, meaning he must have collapsed. Mo quickly checks for a pulse and finds one. She calls out instructions to get an ambulance. Jeez is rushed to the hospital and Diederik shows up too. Sam cries that her father won't get to see his first grandchild. Mo comforts her that they need to be rational at this point and see what the final outcome is. She talks with a doctor who doesn't give her much hope. Jeez is stabilized with life support, but the doctor thinks it best for Mo to go home rather than wait anxiously. If he has any updates, he'll let her know. Max drives Mo home and he comforts her in bed. During working hours, Mo takes out time to be there for her father. She stands and holds onto his hand, and at some point, he responds by gripping her hand right back. This causes her to smile and gather the courage to let him be so she can attend to other patients. She's reunited with Ruud Donkers, the recurring patient who suffered shortness of breath amongst other things. This time, Mo's stethoscope picks up an aortic valve stenosis. His partner makes the hard decision to let Ruud go out naturally. Mo pushes that they could still very much help out Ruud, as the treatment has a percentage rate of success. The partner refuses, stating that Ruud has become a shadow of himself and he's grateful for the hospital's zeal and passion. But it's time to let things be. Jeeves wakes up and shares his near-end experience with Mo. It's brought back a sense of reality to him, and he admits that it was scary. It doesn't take away from the adventure of the career itself, but it reminds one that there's so much more than what meets the eye. Mo tells Max about Ruud's case. The hospital has gone ahead to stop administering medication. It saddens Mo. She remembers after the football match, Max had brought up children. She wonders if he was trying to tell her something because, at his father's workshop, he'd spoken on her behalf about not wanting children. She'd never told him she wanted to be child-free. He relays that he just assumed because she hadn't shown interest in the conversation about wanting kids. He's game for changing the trajectory of the conversation. They're both hungry, so Max suggests that they get falafels. It's 2 a.m. and the restaurant is closing up. Max pleads with Bilal for some special treatment, even after he complains that he's cleaned up and they can get something else to eat. Max bribes him with a drawing, and Bilal reluctantly agrees to entertain them. While Bilal makes their falafels, Max starts making a sketch on a cup mat. He mentions to Mo that he went to an art academy because she's surprised that he can draw too. Max pays Bilal with the drawing, and in exchange, he gets his falafels. Bilal adds the angry caricature to the numerous others he has on the wall. Mo wants to know how long Max has dreamed of being a father, and he voices that it was ever since his father thought he wasn't capable because of his sexuality. But he's aware the concept of a child is more than just trying to prove a point to his condescending father. Mo watches Max be his carefree and loving self, helping Bilal stack up the chairs and put up the table. Mo is present at Sam and Bartjan's ultrasound appointment. They're having a boy. Geej is back home and Mo assists him with his daily activities. She feels the need to hug him too. Mo and Max check a dating site called Gene Matching, used for people looking for the perfect match to have children with. Max plans to find a woman, so he's one step closer to his fatherhood dreams. Hem and Mo swipe through numerous options together. Mo still sees JJ. He teases her that she works too hard and she should stop. He waits for her in bed, unclad, but something about him makes her sigh. Mo came to say goodbye to Max before she went somewhere. She meets musing for Max. Mo is initially caught off guard, but Ray isn't bothered, and Max has a way of constantly spinning stuff in a lighter and fun way. Work takes Mo to Barcelona. She lectures there, and the directors are eager to have her on board as a staff, but she prefers to return home. She gets a video call from Max, who has started working on the sculpture Ray modeled for. She tells an enthusiastic Max she'll be back the following day to see him and the other lovely neighbors. She ends the call with a smile on her face, and still has that smile when she boards a flight home. Getting home brings a sense of relief, and she has a shower before visiting Max with a gift. She teases she's back for the soup he promised. Then they hug, and she hands him his gift. Max introduces Mo to Marlene, and Marlene is already aware of Mo as the neighbor. Jealousy starts to kick in, and Mo queries Max about who Marlene is. Marlene divulges that both she and Max want children, so common goals have brought them together. Mo starts to feel like an intruder and wants to take her leave against Max's wishes. He doesn't get why Mo suddenly wants to retreat when there's plenty of soup to go around and he's not unwrapped his gift yet. Mo offloads to Sam. She lies, saying she's not jealous but wishes that Max was more transparent with her. She's putting two and two together, believing that she might have been a possible surrogate for Max before he decided to go for someone more elegant, tall, young, and everything else she's not. The talk about children surprises Sam. Mo admits that she's felt motherhood as an older sibling, and she's about to be an aunt, so she's technically fine. Max thanks Mo for his gift and hopes he and Marlene can come over for dinner and smoothen things out, as he felt uneased the last time they spoke. Mo still feels a type of way about Marlene, insecure because she's beautiful. Max reminds her that he's still not interested in women, and he's only trying to properly get to know the woman he's having a baby with. The conception itself will be done in a lab. He asks again if he and Marlene can come over, but Mo still has an attitude. She mentions that JJ is coming over, and Max just wants her to know they're all humans, and she makes a funny face when she's lost for words. Mo lets Marlene and Max join her and JJ for dinner. Marlene goes into details, for JJ's curiosity's sake, about what she and Max are venturing into. They're working on algorithms rather than emotions to have the best partner to parent a child with. JJ remarks that he wishes he ran his wife through an algorithm if the poor woman had a Canadian dollar for every time he referenced her. Mo decides she wants to end the relationship she has with JJ. He doesn't even protest. By daytime, he's gotten a taxi to leave. The family has another get-together. The baby won't be named after his gramps, much to Geej's despair. He has hopes that Sam will adopt the name for one of her other kids, or maybe Diederik might surprise him. He's sure not betting on Mo, though. Geej gets up from the table to use the restroom but collapses before he gets there. Mo is present when the doctors can no longer feel a heartbeat. She goes hysterical when they choose not to resuscitate him. One of them manages to ring out to her that it was her father's wish not to be resuscitated. He signed a statement. Sam knew about the statement, but Mo's surprised Geej never told her. Sam explains that Mo would have tried to talk him out of the decision had he told her. Geej is laid to rest, and Mo muses in Max's company. She reflects she's been so used to being referred to as the daughter of, but now she's an orphan. She doesn't feel like she's entitled to much anymore either. Max wants her to cheer up. He asks if she's got time for a vacation in her busy schedule. They end up in Morocco for 3 days in a single booked room. Mo is curious to see how that turns out, and Max promises they're never alone. They go exploring the city, and Max lets on that he's been visiting for years. The first time was when he was 18. Over dinner, Mo asks Max if Marlene is okay with their vacation. He admits she's not actually, and Mo picks up that he doesn't really want to talk about Marlene. When they retire to their room, Mo spares a glance at Max as he changes. She states that she's merely looking at him with a photographer's eye. Mo brings up Marlene yet again, this time over breakfast. She feels Marlene suddenly expressing jealousy as a red flag, but Max counters that no one is perfect. Algorithm said she's his match, and he sees the whole process like an arranged marriage. As if to prove a point, he flirts by tipping the waiter for his service. The pair go dancing and watch the full moon later on. That night, they share the same bed and cuddle. They return back to Hague, and Mo admits that if Max had asked her directly to be his surrogate, she most likely wouldn't have said no. It comes as a surprise to him, and he holds her close as they wheel their luggage through. Marlene is waiting for Max with good news and bad news for Mo. They're pregnant. Mo retreats to her apartment to cry. She continues to sulk even when Max comes over to sort things out. There's nothing they can do about it than be practical. Mo and Max become more cordial than friendly with each other. Sam has her baby, and her family is there to support her. Diederik and Sam know their big sister will be taking the job offer in Barcelona. Mo loads the taxi with the last of her luggage, and Max comes out to witness her leave. He'd contemplated giving her a proper farewell, but assumed it might be hard for both of them. He wishes her well, and then she's off. Mo goes about her new life in Barcelona, turning mushy when she sees a full moon. She's with some students when Max spots and calls out to her. He races towards her and gushes that he wants her to be his surrogate. Mo has to clarify to the students that he's her queer neighbor, not her husband. He explains that the baby Marlene is carrying isn't his, and he felt relief when he found out, because he would rather share a permanent bond like a child with someone he loves. He hugs her, and teases anyone who would think he's straight with the way he's acting. Max's confession of love puts a spring to Mo's feet and a smile on her face. Over dinner, they prepare for the conception, exchanging gifts of syringes and semen collection cups. They even share a toast and a kiss. Mo's pregnancy test reads positive, and she goes looking for Max with excitement. She finds him at a bar with friends and breaks the news. He's immediately excited. 11 months later, the family still has their gathering, but with new additions to the circle, including Ray and Diederik's new boo. Mo and Max's baby's name is Gieds. Mo joins them at the cafe after a busy day at the hospital. She and Max instantly take a liking to the waiter, but Mo is sure the waiter has eyes for her, not her baby daddy. The waiter returns with their orders, and Mo's coffee has heart art. She was right.